In the previous video, we discussed about chemical changes and their characteristics. And we know that these changes occur all the time within our body and all around us as well. So how do we study these changes? In chemistry, usually all the chemical changes are represented in the form of chemical reaction. Now, reaction term is used to depict change or transformation in which a substance either decomposes to a new substance or combines with other substances or exchanges its constituents with other substances. And as we said that every chemical change is represented by a chemical reaction, this chemical reaction is basically an equation. So in this equation, the chemical species undergoing the change or transformation are called reactants, and the species obtained after the change of transformation are called products. So a general chemical reaction can be represented as reactants changing into products, the arrow sign depicting the direction of the reaction from reactants to products. Now let us understand how to write a chemical reaction using an example. So let's take the example of photosynthesis. What happens in photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide and water inside the plants combines to give us glucose and oxygen gas. So in chemical equation for this change, we will use the molecular formulae of each species. That is carbon dioxide, water, glucose and oxygen gas. So carbon dioxide plus water becomes our reactants. Then we'll write a sign of arrow to denote the change or transformation, and finally the products, which are glucose and oxygen. Now in a chemical reaction, it is very important to denote the physical state of reactants as well as products. So in this case, carbon dioxide is in gaseous state, water is in liquid state, glucose is obtained as solution, and oxygen is released as gas. Now these physical states are enclosed within a bracket. So this is how we write a chemical reaction. Now the necessary conditions, for example in case of photosynthesis, is presence of sunlight. These type of conditions are denoted above the sign of arrow. Now, any chemical reaction is incomplete without giving the information of how many molecules of each reactant is required to give a certain number of molecules of products. So, we have to include that information as well. So, for photosynthesis, 6 molecules of carbon dioxide reacts with 6 molecules of water to give you 1 molecule of glucose and 6 molecules of oxygen gas. So this is how we write a complete chemical reaction.